Word. Okay. Victor, let's just kick it off, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. I saw you on a website, and I decided to ask you. You look like an interesting guy to be on the show, and I was like, "Hey, man, cool." And then I saw that you were on End of Days, and you were doing writing for some comedians and stuff like that. I was like, man. I got that part wrong, but I know that I read some of your bio and stuff. Do you want to kind of talk about the stuff that you do, and we can kind of just have a conversation about that?
Sure, if you want. That's
Yeah.
totally cool. Yeah. So you found me on a website. You found my OnlyFans, and
I subscribed.
no, actually, like, so what I'm doing right now is I haven't done a lot of like podcast interviews in a long time. I used to do them a whole bunch, and then recently, because I actually have a new podcast that just started, I've been doing kind of like a publicity tour, and you're like the very first podcast. Wow. Like, I just registered with those places and saying I'm open to being booked on podcasts, and you're the very first one. And then awesome. I was like, I went down to your podcast, and I was like, oh, this dude sounds cool. And I listened to your first podcast where you're like raring to go. You're like, here we go, let's do this. And then I listened to your 1-year anniversary podcast.
Yes.
And then that was the one where you're like, I'm just gonna keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Man. And then I listened to the one where you did the song afterwards.
Oh yeah. I made a song because I'm a musician too, and I was like, man, I can put music on here, I guess, right? It's my show. I can do whatever the hell I want, right? So I was like, I'll just put that on there.
Yeah, but, it's your show.
I appreciate you checking it out, man. And that's cool that I'm your first guest or first person to reach out to you,
Yeah,
and
awesome.
So the first thing I want to talk about, well, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but let's talk about End of Days. Just, I know it was I saw you in that movie, and I thought that was super because I liked that movie when I was a kid, because that movie came out a long time ago. I rented it again. I'm like, man, I actually want to see that movie again. I hadn't seen it in a long time, because I like to watch movies from back in the day, because now I'm a little bit smarter. I like to think, and I have a conspiracy mind, so I kind of like pick out like weird things that happen in movies and stuff. And I feel like art imitates life, and that's especially true for Hollywood. And there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in Hollywood, and like, and I wanted to get your perspective on that. But like, for instance, the movie's Eyes Wide Shut, where they have like these weird like sex parties where they're like doing like seances and stuff. Like, I want to believe that really does happen, like especially with like super like famous like A-list celebrities that are.
I would be willing to believe that stuff like that happens. I mean, I think that, you got a lot of money and a lot of time on your hands, and sex is a lot of fun. I think it probably gets pretty weird. That's my guess.
Right. Right.
I mean, why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, I have all the money and I'm beautiful. And
like, if you had unlimited money, unlimited resources, do you think that there is a chance that if somebody was like, hey, do you want to have sex in an alligator suit, you'd be like, yeah.
Duh, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, for sure, right? Because like, exactly how you said it, you have all the money, you don't need money no more, so that's out of the picture. That's like a normie like me, like I have to earn money like to pay my bills. But if you're insanely rich, that's not really a problem anymore. So you're kind of just like, well, what else do I do?
That's actually true. I think that I've actually done a lot of research, not just on like people who are successful, but just people who are like wealthy. And one of my favorite things to look at were these videos where this guy would interview very wealthy people, and they would say like, what's the best thing about being wealthy? Like, and just straight up ask them like, what's the best thing?
Yeah.
But the thing that people kept saying was not having to worry about just basic living. Like, you
Right.
just never have to worry
Yeah.
about like but not even on that level. Like, you don't have to worry about your house, you don't have to worry about your food, you
car.
don't have to worry about anything. Like everybody who's at some level has to worry about keeping a job, they have to worry about like, but you just, if that worry is just gone.
I didn't even know what my life would be like. And I think that when that happens to somebody, I'm really curious to see what kind of person that person, or what kind of person he becomes, or she, because
I can tell you that they're all over the place, just like everybody else. At least because I've met a lot of people that are very well off, and like, I mean, like people who are so well off that are like, like their names are on buildings, not
right,
Trump, somebody
gigantic.
else, but 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 yeah, like it's and people are all over the place, like everybody, just like everybody else. It's just like some are great, some are not.
Yeah, I guess that's how it is. Yeah, because you could meet a poor guy that's a complete asshole. You know what I mean? And you could.
Oh, and I have.
Usually, most of them are. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I could see that. Some people they say like when you're rich, just the type of person you are comes out more, whether it be for good or bad. If you're a really cool guy and then you get rich and you're a really cool rich guy, and vice versa.
They actually say the same thing about vampirism.
Really?
Yeah, they say like if you're a vampire, then like whatever. If you're a dick, then you become more of a dick.
Yeah, like you're a nice vampire, mean vampire.
Exactly.
What's up with vampires? Do you think there's some truth to that?
I hope not. I really hope not.
Well, I listened to this guy, and he said that for sure there's a real place in Castlevania, or I think it's called, I forget, that somewhere over there's an actual Castlevania, and one of the politicians bought that damn place, and he's doing like a lot of weird stuff over there. So I don't know, maybe some people acted out. I think there was a Vlad the Impaler, right?
Right, that was the guy who people think that the story of Dracula comes from.
Yeah.
The story of Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah. So maybe he was just a human that liked to kill people and drink their blood. And then
yeah, I guess Vlad the Impaler. I don't know his exact story, although this is kind of funny. I'm actually going to do that. Hey, do you actually, here's an idea. Okay, so
what's up?
So my podcast is the one that I'm doing is a podcast where I just read Wikipedia pages. And I was thinking that when I come by people's podcasts, I would ask them to recommend a Wikipedia page to read, and we'd read it on the show and dedicate it to you.
Okay.
And then yeah, totally. And so you should pick a page. But if you pick Vlad the Impaler, I wouldn't be mad, because now I'm curious.
Vlad the Impaler, because I was gonna say we need to know more about this guy.
Okay, so
at the same time,
write it down.
All right,
I'll write it down and we'll dedicate it to you. We'll tag you.
Awesome, man. Cool. Yeah, because Vlad the Impaler. Because now I know that name, and that's what a cool name, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't get that. You don't get that name from being a great juggler.
Yeah, that's like either a porn star's name or a
Impaler. Nice. Nice.
What's your name? Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, that's that could go both ways in a weird name. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like kind of going on a tangent, like vampires. That's a weird thing, But and then so that ties back into Hollywood. Like I always think like, oh shit, maybe like in Hollywood, like they're like sacrificing people and drinking their blood, or just or because there's small cases of that. What's that fashion?
Well, I know. Well, I mean, I hate to burst your bubble on this, but I know people who are poor who drink each other's blood. I know people who are poor who are like, that's hot, and I'm like, what?
Oh shit!
Like, so okay, I don't know. I don't know if that's like incriminating.
Okay, so then that means it's probably for sure they if rich people do it too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if everybody does it, yeah, then
Yeah,
there's some.
everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Holy crap, yeah. Cause yeah, I always wondered that, man. I was like, man, Hollywood is such a weird place. And I know there's like levels, to like the Tom Cruises, and the people that are way up there, they probably get into real weird shit. So yeah, I always
Yeah,
wondered about that.
probably.
So what's it like being over there, man? Are you still in California, or did you ever live in California?
I did. I lived in California for a while. I'm in New York now, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I lived in California for a while.
Is that where you started your acting career?
Yeah, I actually started my acting career in New York. That was actually where I got cast in End of Days, which was what you're talking about before.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And yeah, so I got cast in End of Days because I was also a very good dancer. So I
Nice.
got cast in a music video for Elton John being a dancer, and then the director of that music video
Uh-huh.
got hired to make that movie End of Days, and then he hired
Mm.
me, and then he got fired, and I still stayed on the movie. So they cut my part way down because I was hired by the director who was fired.
Oh man. Why did you
Yeah,
get
dude.
fired? What the hell do you do to get fired? Like was he
No,
like
I mean,
mid? Go ahead.
I think, well, I don't know exactly, but here's what the rumor was. The
Oh yeah,
rumor
there we
was
go. That's what I wanted
that
to hear.
he wouldn't send back dailies to Universal Pictures. The rumor was that he was just like so uh you know uh I guess he was so protective of his
Mhm.
baby that he wouldn't send back dailies. I don't know if you know what dailies or not, but dailies are just like whatever you shoot that day, you send back that
Oh,
footage
okay.
so people can just check it out.
Oh,
And
it's kind of
so
what you're
every
doing,
day you get to see the progress.
like a progress report. Like, look, this is
Yeah.
what we did today.
Yeah, and he was
Try
just
kind of,
like he was
yeah,
like, no. I mean, again, this is a rumor, but
yeah.
I'm saying it like it's real now, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to justify your money. Like, we gave you $20 million to shoot this movie. What did you do today? Or something like that. Maybe I have
Well,
no
yeah,
clue.
because
I'm
I
just
think it was
guessing.
his first. I think at that time it was going to be his first feature, and so of course they're watching him extra hard.
Yeah, and that's a big get. I mean, to get Arnold in an action movie in the what was it, or late 1990s or 2000, right? It was give or take.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a big thing. But I have one question about your part. Is your
Yes.
hair really that blonde? Is that
Oh
real?
yeah, that's the same color as my real hair. They actually. So that's the same color as my real hair. That was a wig though. I don't
Oh, it
have big.
was.
Yeah, I don't have
Oh,
like
okay.
big. I don't have like
Yeah,
big
you had
blonde
like
knots
big
of
old
hair.
freaking dreads. I was like, that's dope. That's
But
dope.
yeah, I mean, it was cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the color of my. That's exactly the color of my real hair. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah, so that was cool, man. And I watched a little bit of your stand up. I like that too, man. That's a fun thing to do, I would imagine. So, are you what are you doing now?
Well, I am still doing stand up, which I
Uh-huh.
love. I actually didn't do a lot of stand up during the height of the pandemic
Mhm.
because I mean, in New York, like the pandemic was definitely hitting hard because we were so like closely packed, you
Yeah.
know, and so but a lot of comedians like ran out and started doing like a bunch of shows just like as soon as they were like legally able to get out the door,
Right.
and I was not part of that group. I was just like, nah, I'm just gonna wait. I'll just chill. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have to be on stage that much.
Hmm.
And so I was well, I mean, bear in mind I do love being on stage, but I
Yeah.
was just saying I'm gonna wait. And then so now is a time where I've just started like doing more shows. Like there's actually a local show in Brooklyn that I'm just headlining it once a week right now.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's are you working on new material, or are you
I
kind of
am. I'm working on
yeah.
new material because I'm going to probably be doing my first real tour um in probably next year. So I'm working on a lot of new material right now.
That's great, man. So how was it? So you were in New York in the height of the pandemic. Was it crazy, or how did you feel? What did you feel about the pandemic in general? Do you think it was bullshit? Did you think uh I mean that's a broad statement, but like did you agree with everything Cuomo or not? Was it Cuomo, right? What the hell he was doing? And it just seemed like a shit show, like from a point of view from a because I'm over
Seemed
here.
like one. It was definitely a shit show.
Yeah, because I'm in Texas, man. Like in Texas, we were like, okay, we'll shut down for a little bit, but then we were like, dude, fuck this. You know, everyone was like, fuck this.
Yeah, I
But it,
know, and I have friends who live in Texas, and it's in fact some of my family lives in Texas, but it's
mhm,
like yeah, it was just different down there
it
because
was.
I for me, so I live in Queens, New York, all right?
Mm.
And if you check back at the very beginning of the pandemic when they were like saying the epicenter of the pandemic was New York
Queens.
City and the epidemic of New York City was Queens.
Damn.
So we were locked down. Like not only were we locked
Jesus.
down, like we couldn't even get hand wipes, hand sanitizer wipes. Like
Yeah.
because they were sold out throughout the city. My sister
Yeah.
had to send me some from out of town. So like when you guys were like down there and you're like walking out in a walking out in the field and breathing fresh air, we didn't
Yeah.
we were locked down. It was like the apocalypse.
Damn. It
Yeah, it
was
was
like
crazy.
was it there like freaking alarms like going like in China they're like please stay in your house. If you do not
No,
we will arrest you, like shit
thankfully
like that.
it wasn't quite that bad, but it was but everybody was doing that thing where like at a certain time people would applaud out the window for when the shift changed on the for the hospital people. Like so
Yeah.
every
Oh
time the shift changed
fuck.
people would applaud. And
Yeah.
I get that that was a good sentiment at first, but then it
It
just
got
died
weird.
down weird.
Yeah, it got real weird, dude.
Yeah.
It got weird. And then like you find out that Cuomo sent all those people to the retirement homes and I'm like, what the fuck? He sent all those old people there and then like people started dying like crazy. And then Trump brought that big old ship and they didn't even use it. It was like it's like what the hell's going on here over there, you know?
Yeah,
It's
this is actually really
bizarre.
funny. This has a lot to do with like how I feel about just about life in general.
Mhm.
Because when I started looking at things, like I was really like, what can I do? Because like the world, like the whole world
Mhm.
is pretty fucked. And so
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm
Yeah.
not even talking about like this side, that side, who
Hmm.
I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about everybody, like
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, what can I do? And so what I can do is I can try to shore up my shores and make my own little world good. Like
Right.
I can take
Yeah.
care of
Your
those that
circle.
I love and
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
and so I just started concentrating on like making a career out of like making money doing nonsense. and so and so far so good.
Yeah. I wish I could make money doing nonsense. I have to freaking work in the oil field and bust my ass and get sweaty and cut up and
I
bust
think
my
you could
knuckles and
I think you could make money doing nonsense, and I can prove it to you right now.
How's that?
Okay, so if you were going to make money doing nonsense, what would be the nonsense that you would do? Like, what would you do if you could do anything for money?
Man, well, define nonsense like anything
Like,
like
just things. I define nonsense as things that I absolutely love for no reason. Like you
okay.
probably are with music,
Okay, yes, I love playing guitar. I love playing weird music. I love doing podcasting. I love talking to people. I love playing golf, but that's that's impossible to make money on. But yeah, just podcasting and music, man, is really the weird quirks I have as far as
All
like
right, so
just doing the weird things.
let me prove to you that you can make money doing that
Okay,
your whole living. Okay?
I'm
Here it
ready.
is. Ready?
Yes.
Whatever you want to do, there's
Mhm.
already somebody out there doing it worse and they're a millionaire.
Shit. So what does that mean for me? Should I just
That just means that that
Oh, it's
if someone
possible.
worse than you
Oh
can
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
you
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah,
Because
that's a good point.
I'm sure you can look at guitar players who are
Oh,
successful who are
oh
you're
yeah.
better than. I'm
Oh
sure they're out
yes.
there.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
fact.
It's a
Yeah.
fact.
I'm like, God, this guy, what? These guys are making money playing this? Like, what the hell?
Exactly.
I guess it's who you know, then, I guess, right? Kind of in some sort. See, because I noticed like podcasts that I listen to, they're like already established. Like, I listen to Sam Tripoli, he's a comedian. I don't
Yeah.
know if you ever heard of Sam. and he starts a podcast, and his podcast is pretty popular. Or like Joe Rogan, he's a famous, uh, you know, a martial artist. He was on shows and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
and they're like pre-established guys that make it big. But I'm not even talking about that. Like, but you're right. There's other people that do podcasts that are just regular guys that start a podcast and they make a modest, maybe $1,000 a month, which would be life changing for me. But
Uh-huh.
for someone else, it's, you know what I mean. It's a good extra chunk of change, something like that, But
Yeah.
podcasting is cool, man. You're gonna start doing your own?
No, I am. I am.
Oh,
I
you're
started
oh
one.
you're ready. You're what's it called?
It's called Wiki Listen.
Wiki Listen. Okay, cool. So it is gonna be like a wiki page, and you're gonna
Yeah, I and one of my friends, Rachel, we read a Wikipedia page every day. That's it. That's it. That's the podcast.
do
We
you
read
how
we read
do
a
you
page and then
uh
we read a Wikipedia page and then we also like comment about it,
yeah, I was gonna
as
say,
well.
like, you do like
Yeah.
a commentary, like a funny, like I don't know, something funny, like just
Yeah.
riff about it, riff about the show.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you check out like you can check out our Instagram, you see like a whole bunch of clips from the show, but like yeah, we riff about whatever. Like the Wikipedia page that we read that was the funniest was one called ferret legging. Ferret legging is ferret legging is a sport that they
What?
do in it's a sport. They do it in Australia. And here's
Okay.
how the sport works. First of all, you must have baggy pants and you have to have your feet your ankles tied so nothing can get out. Then you stick a ferret in your pants. The ferret must have teeth and claws. These are the rules that are in the
Okay.
Wikipedia page.
All right.
Must
I'm
have
into
teeth
it.
and claws. Also, you can't wear underwear. It must have free access to your genitals. This and then
Okay.
and then the contest is who can keep their pants on the longest.
Oh, can
It's
you use your hands?
you to hold your pants closed.
So how do you stop from the ferret from nipping at your sack or whatever?
You don't.
You just have to take it until it's like riding a
For as
bull.
long as
It's
you
like riding
can.
it's like riding a bull, right?
Yeah, pretty
In
much.
theory.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like that.
Have you seen anybody do this yet?
No.
I'm gonna
I
YouTube
would
that shit
love
when
to
I
have
get
seen someone do
on.
this.
It's a cool sport that they
What?
do. I don't know what it's called, but they roll a wheel of cheese down a hill, and they run down the hill as fast as they can to try to get the wheel of cheese. Have you seen this?
I vaguely can
It's
remember something
amazing.
like this. I wonder if
It's a,
it's called a cheese roll because that would make
I
sense, right? A cheese
I
roll?
think it's amazing, dude. And you have to see it. It's so cool. They run full speed down the hill. They just munch it, and they just flip down the hill. Like, it's great. And they put it in slow mo and stuff. That would be a good one. So, what do you want to do with your podcast? You're just gonna do the wiki thing, and I guess you can just kind of, because that could go on forever.
Yeah, that's right.
They could go on forever. You could do Vlad the Impaler. You know,
Absolutely.
that's gonna be a good one. I
Yeah,
gotta hear
I
that
mean
one.
we will. We're gonna do Vlad the Impaler, and we're gonna dedicate it to you for picking it.
All right.
We did it already. Somebody recently we just released an episode. I think it was like yesterday for glam rock. Somebody picked glam rock.
Glam rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's weird because Wikipedia could, a lot of people like put bullshit on there too, So it's not like this thing is stone in truth. Like, it could be, I don't know, it could be, because people edit the wiki pages, right?
Yes.
And it could be anything.
Well,
So,
not anything. It used to be that like when the
uh,
Wikipedia first started, it
uh,
was a lot more people could just like put up crazy stuff and it would stay for a while. But
uh-huh.
now their system is so good that it doesn't happen anymore. Like
Oh,
you have to
okay.
get like when you're an editor,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're an editor, the first couple of times you're editing, like
Mm-hmm.
they'll check you and make sure that you're editing, and then you have to basically
Oh,
like go
okay.
through a system to become reliable.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
it's different
So
now.
they're cutting out some of the BS.
Yeah, but that's good because then it makes it, more reliable as
Yeah,
a place to actually read something.
yeah, and that's actually a good idea for a show because it's like educational in a way too. You're like,
I
hey,
agree.
I didn't know who the hell Vlad the Impaler was. Now I do.
Oh
You
my
know?
God, can I tell you how I thought of the idea for this show? Because it was so.
Yes,
Because okay,
please.
so this is nonsense, right? I am reading Wikipedia pages,
Yeah, it's
so
ridiculous.
it
It's
is
ridiculous,
nonsense.
but it's genius. It's great.
It works. Like we
It's good
already
content.
have like almost like 10,000 downloads a week, so like it's happening.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
lot, dude.
Yeah,
Hell
it's like
yeah.
it's working. It's great. And then so basically, I was talking to someone, and I basically wanted to do a podcast that was profitable. I didn't want to do a podcast that was not profitable
Hmm.
because most people say you got to do podcasting because you love it. And I was like, can I do podcasting because I love it and make a
And make money.
profit? Because I love reading Wikipedia pages. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
fun.
fun.
Like I have
Yeah.
a great time. And so I was like, I used to work in television and documentary TV, and
Hmm.
one of the things that always works is if there's a show like a documentary that people learn a lot of stuff on.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
like.
people
Hmm.
love that. And then the thing is, though, that when you do that as a show, it takes a long time to research all that stuff.
Hmm.
But then I was like, I was watching Netflix Explain, which is a documentary style show, like an infotainment style show, like everything about diamonds. And then
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this kind of sounds like a Wikipedia page. And then I went to the Wikipedia, uh, what their distribution rights are. And then I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I can just read this as long as I credit Wikipedia.
Oh.
So all that
Yeah.
research that you would have to do for a normal, like super addicting infotainment show was done
Yeah.
for you by all the people who make Wikipedia. And then,
Yeah.
so I started doing it. And then I was like, I hope Wikipedia doesn't come after me.
For sure. Yeah.
But then the Wikimedia Foundation contacted us.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they were like, we love it. And we are
We
like,
sponsor the
great.
show.
They didn't say they'd sponsor the show, but
No.
they did they have like been in contact with us, and
Mhm.
like we want you to be involved in some like uh some of the I think some of the Wikimedia uh events or something like that. I think
Mhm.
that they're gonna have us. In fact, we actually went to an event. Okay, so part of my thing that I like is just like everything is a joke. Like the whole like everything in the world is a joke because if nothing means anything, why not just have a good time and laugh?
For
And
sure.
so one of the things I did when I made Wiki Listen was then I also found out that inside Wikipedia they have like I've been learning a lot about Wikipedia,
Yeah.
obviously. And so they have a lot of wiki projects inside. So like they're subgroups inside Wikipedia. And one of them is
Mm.
called the Department of Fun. So
Mm.
then I went into the Department of Fun and I challenged them for leadership of the Department of Fun. And then they were like, "We don't have leaders here." And then I
I'm the
said, "Well,
leader
I'm
now.
no," but then I said, "I'm still going to run for leader." So I'm running for leader of the Department of Fun. And then I went to the Wikipedia event was called the Wiki World Fair. And then so I went to the Wiki World Fair and did a live reading of a Wikipedia page for Wikipedia editors.
That's
And they
great.
loved it amazingly.
That's great, dude. That is
Yeah, it's
so
pretty
great.
funny.
Yeah. So, I like Wikipedia. I love like my favorite thing to do is watch either a documentary or a movie about old stuff that happened in history.
Yeah.
You know, I just get obsessed with that type of thing. And my girlfriend's like, "Why are you watching a documentary on space?" I'm like, "I don't know. I like to learn stuff, you know?"
No, I mean it's cool. Like I think I'm addicted to just like learning facts and weird stuff. Like I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. So I bet you're gonna get super smart now because you're gonna you're gonna know everything because you're like reading all the wiki pages.
I don't know. I don't know if
Or
that makes people smart.
I think it
It's
does.
Pete Holmes. Do you know that guy, comedian?
That sounds familiar.
He has a really funny joke where he is like he likes the world before Wikipedia and the internet because then stupid people didn't know facts. Because those stupid people can just like look up
Oh
a
yeah,
dumb
yeah,
fact
yeah,
to try and back
yeah,
themselves up.
yeah, yeah. That's a good joke. So, how long do you think? Like, do you want to run the show? Like, do you have other ideas that you want to do too, or
Oh yeah, I
are
have
you a one podcast kind of guy, or are you like a, you know?
I actually run 2 podcasts, and it's about to be 3, and then I also have other projects and things that I work on. Like, I also, like, make TV shows, and I make
Mhm.
films, and, I make video games.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by making video games? Like you run a script or you run like, because there's tons of stuff to do in making a video game, I would imagine.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, I like make little indie games. Like, I actually have a website. I have a website. Oh my god. I have a website where the winner of the video game, whoever gets a high score in the video game, gets $100. So every
no
day
way.
I give away $100 to
Wow.
the high score winner.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's freaking awesome. Did you make the game like you coded the game and everything?
Yeah, if you go to my website, you can
What is
see
it?
two of the games are games that I made. It's called
What
highscorewinsmoney.com.
are you like every day you're like, damn it, there goes another $100. Damn it, there's
No, I'm
another.
not. I'm not, because the whole plan is for people to come and play. Because think about this: enough people will start going to the website so that the ads will make way more than $100 a day.
Ah, genius. There you go. So it's not your money, it's their money, which is
It's advertisers' money.
yeah, it's
So basically,
everybody. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love I absolutely love doing anything where I don't have to charge like the general public for anything.
yeah,
I can give it away free to the general public. Just
yeah.
like, for instance, like my my podcast, Wiki
Hmm.
Listen, it's free to the general public, and
Hmm.
then it makes money on ads. And so, like,
Yeah,
this game site that gives away $100 every day is free to the general public. But I
yeah.
get the money from somewhere else, because that's what I like. I grew up in the general public. I don't like to pay for anything.
See, see, 'cause I like the way you're doing things. I like the way you think. You're like, I'm gonna do something fun, and I'm gonna make money from it, and then I'm gonna give some of it away so I can earn a living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Why can't I do that? Damn it.
You
See, I need to have
can.
you. See, because I was thinking like, see, immediately I was thinking, dude, if I had to give $100 a day away, I'd be freaking homeless, you know. But
but that
since
but but that's not what I'm not using my money.
that's what I'm saying, but I know I understand that now. But at first I was like, shit, you're giving away $100 a day? But
Yeah, it's just like I had an idea, and
mhm,
then I mean, straight up, 6 years ago,
mhm,
like, I didn't know how to do any of the side of being an entrepreneur. I was just a creative person, and I'm a person
mhm,
that I would go, and people would hire me to, like, basically fix crappy TV shows. and
mhm,
and I was good at it.
mhm,
But uh but then at one point I was like, if people will put me in charge of a show, and like it's $1 million franchise, and I'm a producer on the show,
mhm.
like, uh that means that I could do it with my own ideas. Cause like,
Yes,
if I can run $1 million show, and like and like, if I can run $1 million show, if someone's gonna trust me to work on their
yes.
$1 million project in a senior role, why can't I do that with my own? Because they're hiring me just to be creative. I'm just to
Mm.
have good ideas. I can have good ideas on
Yeah,
my
you
own.
still got good ideas for free. You got them for free from all day, you know? So,
Exactly. And so
yeah.
that's what I'm doing. So I take my good ideas, and I take it,
Mhm.
and then I learned how to, for the last 6 years, I learned how to, like, write up a business pitch and get money from people for my good ideas.
Do you feel like it's because you're in a good spot as far as like in New York, you have a lot of connections or you can meet people that have financial things that could be like, hey man, that's a good idea, Victor. We'll freaking throw some money down and let's get this thing going. You know, is it kind of like a where you live type of thing? Do you think it help? Because I know you have a good background. You know, you've been in movies, you've been
Right.
producers and stuff like that, so you have a good leg up. And like, what would you say to someone that's like me, like in a small town, you know, has a podcast, uh, doesn't get 10,000 downloads an episode? Like, what could I do? Because like I said, I bust my ass in the oil field, and I do this shit for free, you know, because like you said, you should do it because you love it, but it would be awesome to get $50 a month, you know, like
Yeah.
that or something, you know what I mean? Like something like that. So what could someone like me do? Do I
think
need to
some
know someone or go ahead?
No, I don't think you should I don't think you need to know I don't think you need to know anybody because the way that I formed my plans so that even if I didn't know anybody, they could still work.
Hmm.
And I do know people and I do have help at this point, but that's all been part of what I've been doing too. I've been like making the connections
Yeah.
to make it work because like when I started I didn't know anybody, I
Hmm.
didn't know anything. I often was like almost like I think I might have to leave New York because I don't have a dollar, you know. So like i was I was like I didn't know anything to
Yeah.
start, and I learned and kept going. But I can definitely say that now, knowing like how the internet works, and
Hmm.
the fact that I was definitely the fact that I spent months researching how to make a podcast like really grow.
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to be in New York at all. Like if
Hmm.
you want to make your podcast grow, I think the the thing that people say it works the best and costs the least is just going on different podcasts.
Mm. Yeah,
That's
kind of like
exactly
the
what I'm doing right now.
yeah. Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Because
So,
it cost me nothing. It cost me nothing, and maybe if you have like one person on your podcast who
mhm,
enjoys it, and then checks out my podcast, it's definitely worth it. But it
mhm,
also like it gives me a chance to network and talk to you,
mhm.
and then we become acquaintances, which is great.
Yeah.
And then a lot of podcasts a lot of podcasts have pockets of fans, so if you can like
Right.
grab
I
a
see.
few
Yeah,
pockets of
just a
those
couple of them.
fans, and those people who are really and they're really and they listen. So like if they're like those fans who like
Mhm,
are listening to those shows, and they'll listen to your podcast, if they like it
mhm.
they'll come back again. And so if
Yeah.
you can find those people and like add them to your team of like
Mhm.
whatever, then you can do that for no money. And that
Yeah.
and all you have to do is sign up for these same services that I signed up for. I signed up for 3, 2 of them are free.
Yeah. Oh, like a
Yeah,
podcasting
podcast,
service?
like a
Yeah.
place that, yeah,
Mhm.
because you have an experience that a lot of people want to know about. Like for instance, if someone from New York, where do you live?
Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah, Corpus Christi, Texas. So you live
Mhm.
a very different life than a lot of people, so there's a lot of podcasts out there who want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
you said you work in an oil field.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's lots of people who'd
It's
want to talk to you about that, man. Like
yeah, it's
absolutely.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
then talk about your podcast when you do that, and that's the thing that you can do that cost you
That's true.
probably nothing,
Yeah.
and get it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that we're like riding horses and shooting guns up in the air, like the typical stereotypical Texas guy. But it is a little bit crazy over here. I mean, everyone's a little bit more like into guns and you know loves just being out in the woods. Like tomorrow, I'm going out to the river.
Did you just say a lot of people think it's like this, and you're like, yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Damn it, you're right. I'm like, everyone thinks we're shooting guns, but we are gonna go shooting guns tomorrow, and I'm gonna go to. We are gonna go to the river, and yeah, yeah, that is
That's
kind of
cool. That's
funny.
all good though.
Yeah, that is funny, man. So I see you have a cool bunch of books back there. Are you into like comics and stuff like that, or
Oh
do you do
yeah.
a lot of reading and what's up with
I
that?
I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of drawing. I'm an artist as well. I do cartoons. I'm a New Yorker cartoonist. And I've also written. I wrote one issue for Marvel Comics.
No,
Uh, yeah, I love comic books.
that's awesome, dude. Um, did you just they were just like, hey, here's some characters. This is what the next issue is gonna be. Go ahead.
They were like, this is what the next issue is going to be, and they wanted short stories for this issue, and then I pitched them. So I would pitch them stories.
Mhm,
Luckily, it was like it was like a kind of an Elseworld book because it was all like funny. It was all funny, and so
mhm.
that's how I got asked, because I was a
Oh,
fan of comic books and I was funny, and
yeah.
then so you could pitch whatever you wanted. And
Mhm,
then so I pitched a story, and then they actually picked that story to be like the lead story in the book. And it's basically it was basically a story where I thought it was really funny how like like not monsters, but like different villains are always like trying to take over or destroy the universe
Mm-hmm.
at different times. And I thought it'd be funny if they all attacked on the same day, and so like Galactus shows up and a different like I'm attacking the
Yeah.
Earth. Like, no man, wait, I'm attacking the Earth,
Yeah.
So that was basically the story. It was the year that they did Fear Itself, which is a big crossover for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it was called Shame Itself, and it was like a parody of their crossover.
Oh, I think I have some of those. The Fear Itself ones.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I
Okay,
have
yeah.
a
So
ton of comics. Yeah.
that year there's one called Shame Itself, and
Mm-hmm.
then I wrote the lead article, the lead
Okay, so
story.
was it a one off
Yeah, it
called
was a
Shame
one off.
Itself? Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
that'd be easier to find,
Oh, probably pretty
right?
easy.
Because the one offs, because I know that sometimes they'll do like a whole series and they'll do like a one off of this or a one off of that and stuff like that. So how do you like, man? You seems like you do a lot of stuff. You're doing comics, movies, stand up, podcasts. Is it time consuming to do all that stuff? Is this like the thing that like do you love doing all that simple stuff, or do you have to do things you don't want to do, or your life just like straight up like I love doing this, I love doing that. I don't have
My
to work in the oil field. I don't have to do this crap. I do what I want to do. Is it kind of like that?
my goal is that every day I just get up and do exactly what I want to do, which is to just screw around and figure stuff out and like either write something funny or draw a cartoon or make a video game. Like I want every day to just like be able to basically fuck around. And then so what I did to get that is I started building projects that can pay for that. And
Mm,
then yeah, but the goal is like I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do.
yeah.
I want to only spend my time doing things that are fun. and and
Yes.
and I'm not there yet. I'm closer than I used to be. So like
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, I was still working for other people sometimes.
Mm,
And even in the entertainment industry, it's not hell to work for other people. Like I wasn't in hell working as a producer on those shows. That
yeah.
wasn't like the
That
worst
sounds.
job
Yeah.
in
It
the
doesn't sound
world.
like the worst
I
job.
mean, I did hate it, but it's like, it wasn't hell. And so,
Yeah.
but I still was like, I think I can do better for myself. I think I can just have a life where I could just, have fun.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I guess that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, why
Like
not?
yeah, like I work, let's see, about 55 hours a week, like in the oil field. And I feel like, okay, I'm getting out at 6 o'clock. I got exactly 3 hours to either play my guitar, take a guitar lesson, record a podcast, maybe go play golf. You know what I mean? I'm like crunching like
Hmm.
the stuff that I actually love to do, like in so little time because I'm spending like my whole life like in a hot shop, you know?
Yeah,
And it's just a whole nother world, you know. It's just fascinating to hear you talk about that. I'm like, damn, that's cool.
it is a whole nother. Oh my God. Okay, so bear in mind that I'm an idiot. And so anything I say is susceptible to be wholly untrue and lead you down a terrible path. So don't listen to me. I'm saying that ahead of time.
Full disclaimer.
Okay. Full disclaimer. Do not listen to me.
Do not listen to Victor for advice.
But I feel like I've always thought the same way. And I've always looked at like life that is different than my life as
Mhm,
being so far off. Like for instance, like I am shooting. I'm shooting to be like I'm shooting to like be well off from doing just really absolute nonsense. And that is a life that I could not imagine at all. And still now I can't even imagine how it's going to be. I can't imagine like having enough money to like take it easy for 6 months. I can't imagine
yeah,
that. And
I know.
so, but that's like the life that I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
And so I'm shooting for that life, and I can't imagine myself in there, but but now after the last few years, I can see it because now I can see I'm actually like moving down that path. So it so I always keep that thing in mind, like that I told you, because like if someone who's worse at whatever you're trying to do is already out there making millions of dollars, you can do it. Like you could
Yeah,
think like there's got to be a way, because if
yeah,
they're doing it,
I know.
I mean, and then some people, yeah, some people like are born into whatever and
Yeah,
nepotism and who knows what. But then there's some people who are not, who are just bad, and the but are still making millions of
yeah,
dollars.
yeah. Do you ever sit around and like just brainstorm, like, what the hell could I do?
Yeah, all the time.
And when you do that, do you think, how could I make money out of this? Or do you think just I just want to do this and hopefully I can make money out of it? You know, that type of thing? Or like are you
It's
like
it did.
blending business and pleasure type of deal?
Um, I actually just do things like I have a whole list like of hundreds of things, like hundreds of ideas. And then when I come across a situation where like there could be money,
Hmm.
then I start paying attention to an idea that could fit
Mm.
into that hole. So basically I have all these ideas, but I don't really invest like a huge amount of time on an idea right now unless there is money behind it, because I do think that I really enjoy like a lot of the stuff that I come up with.
Hmm.
And it's sometimes it's hard to focus. And an easy way to focus is to be like, which one is actually bringing,
Yeah,
food on your
revenue.
table?
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to live, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then I do
And I
that.
don't mean to keep asking you like, what do you do this like, but I'm just kind of picking your brain and wondering like, man, Victor's living a cool life. Like, I like other people to hear this and be like, man, maybe someone listening and be like, shit, man, like what you said, someone doing it crappier is making money. Why can't, just a normal guy do it?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Like
mm,
it's totally possible. Like why can't anybody do it?
yeah,
That I
yeah,
mean, I think that I think that uh nothing really makes any sense, and everybody's like, do you ever the story The Emperor's New Clothes?
yes.
Okay, so like that's the whole world. Everybody everybody is like sure that they know what has value and what's good. Like
Yeah.
everybody's so sure, but nobody knows for sure. Like
Mm.
everybody's like Megan the Stallion is the best. Like that's what everybody's thinking right now. Like but I but but that but part of that is just because everybody else thinks that. So some like if
Yeah.
if you just met Megan the Stallion by herself and she's like, I'm Megan the Stallion, like if that was
Yeah.
happening, like maybe you'd like her music, but maybe you wouldn't, because there's
Yeah.
not the force of a whole nation saying this is good behind her.
Yeah.
And so and
I get
and
it. I get what you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cause
that's the whole world. Nobody knows what's really good, I don't
yeah,
think. And so what is good may not be, and what is not good may
may
be.
be good.
And so why not reading Wikipedia pages?
Exactly. That's what the world may need.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just doing something I think is cool.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because like you could think like I could come up with an idea and be like, no, that's ridiculous, and then someone else would be like, dude, what do you mean? That's a great idea.
Oh yeah.
And someone else might like that idea and it could snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's 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 no way to know for sure how people are going to take things. Now sometimes every once in a while you'll get something where it's universally like everybody hates this or everybody loves this. Some things
Yeah,
are
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like the movie Showgirls, everybody knows the movie Showgirls is crazy. And so have you seen the movie Showgirls?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there's sometimes there's things where it's like, okay, it's undeniable this is
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
working. But for some stuff where it's like it's kind of working, and some people are like, is it kind of working? That's a masterpiece, like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
who knows?
Like unpopular opinion, like I never watched Game of Thrones. I just didn't. I could not get into it. I don't know why. Everyone says they love it. Like the world says it's awesome, but I just never. I don't know. Did you like it?
I watched. I watched Game of Thrones, but I also watched it get worse and worse. So I saw like I
Yeah.
really enjoyed like, the first seasons, and
Uh-huh.
then
That's
it
what everyone,
got off
yeah.
the rails and got terrible, and then
Yeah.
I'm terrible. Like I will watch like if I get stuck in a show, I'll just watch all of it no matter how bad it gets. And so
Right.
I watched every single episode of Westworld, and that got really
Uh,
bad. Oh man.
yeah. Like, I don't know. I guess there's only a few shows that I really truly love. Like Breaking Bad was really freaking good. That was a great show.
My favorite show from beginning to end ever was The Shield.
Really?
For like all episodes, all
Yeah.
seasons. Like that was just good.
Was that dude from Breaking Bad in that show?
No.
The cop, right? Or
No, not the same
am I way
actor.
off? That
He
seems
looks he
like,
looks they look alike. They're both bald, but
yeah.
no, different actor.
Man, maybe I should check that show out because I don't really have any more shows these days. It's just
It's cool. It's like I don't know how many seasons. It's a lot though. It is,
yeah,
but it's good. It's
yeah.
really good.
The Boys is pretty cool. What do you think about that one? You seen that one?
Oh yeah, that's great. I read the comic book first too. Did you read the
Oh,
comic book?
really? No, I,
Yeah.
I haven't. I
Oh
didn't
my
know it
god,
was a comic.
the comic book. I was so Garth Ennis. I was like infatuated with him because he wrote such like really really dark superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think he also wrote The Authority. Do you ever read The Authority? You know
I
what that
haven't heard
is?
of that one. I'm surprised I haven't heard of that.
The Authority is like a pair. It used to be um, owned by somebody else, some other publisher, but it was like a parody of the Justice League, and
Hmm.
except these guys were all like super powerful. But now they're actually in the DC universe. But yeah, he wrote The Authority, and then I was looking for other stuff that he wrote, and then I found The Boys, and then I read The Boys, and I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just nuts.
And that's another
Great.
one of those things that you wouldn't think, oh, that's kind of a weird idea, but especially like on show, it works out perfect, man. Just the way
Oh,
they
it's
do the
great.
show. Yeah, I love the way they put like the media into it. It's like the media's full of shit, but then like the dad is like believing it, like the stepdad's believing it full heartedly about Homelander, thinking he's like awesome or whatever, but he's really like a psychopath.
Yeah.
It's great, man. But sometimes I think do you think they're overdoing Marvel movies and Marvel comics and DC and all that crap? Do you think they're overdoing it or do you think it's still pretty fresh?
Um, I happen to be of the camp where I'm just like, I have not gotten tired of superhero stuff because I've been like a fan of superheroes since I was
Yeah,
just
me
like a
too,
little
man.
kid.
Me
And
too.
so like I'm just like even when they come out and they're just awful, I'm still
You're still
happy.
happy, right?
Yeah, I'm
That was my
still just
next
like,
question.
I know Batman versus Superman was not a great movie, but I was happy. I
Yeah,
was like, I was like, but
yeah,
then I was like, right, Doomsday looks crazy, but fine,
yeah,
whatever. I
yeah.
mean, and I think that I think that some people are getting smarter about it, where they're just making things that are different and
Hmm.
not like every other giant superhero movie.
Mm.
Some movies are really suffering because like the I thought the Eternals wasn't as good, and I thought just like some
Yeah,
things I think suffered, but in general, I love the idea. I think that Marvel is actually making me really happy because they're doing like dipping into just like weirder characters more,
right.
so
Hmm.
they can do weirder stuff.
Yeah. So that's funny you mentioned Eternals because I'm actually a pretty big Eternals fan of the
Yeah.
comic book. And
Hmm.
I have like issue number 1 from the 70s graded and I have some of the volumes of the books, the characters are awesome. The story's super cool. The way they draw it in the comic books is super cool. And I was so pumped and I was like, "Man, I cannot believe they're making an Eternals movie? Like that's random." Like you're
Hmm.
saying, it's cool that they're kind of like exploring, almost like they're like tired of Spider-Man and Batman. They're like, dude, who else are all these characters? Let's go for whatever. And I kind of liked Eternals. It was a little slow, and some people were like, "What the hell is this?" But to me, I was all I was all giddy because I'm like, "Oh, Eternals! No way! This is awesome!"
Yeah, I know,
But
but then you were like a super fan of the Eternals. But I mean,
yeah,
that's just the way it is. You're just like you take what you can get when you get a
yeah,
movie about the
yeah,
Eternals.
yeah. I was like, okay, it's got Angelina Jolie in it. She's beautiful, so I guess I'll roll with that, you know. But it's so weird. Like if you read the comics and you look at it, it's like it looks super cool, but then in the comic in the show, you kind of get a different vibe from it and stuff. So I guess they're doing the best they can. Did you
Hmm.
watch The Sandman
Not
on
yet.
Netflix? I'm a
What
big
do you think?
oh man, I'm a big Sandman fan. That was one of those other another one of those obscure shows that I could not believe they were gonna make. I was like so pumped, and I'm like, oh my god, what are they doing? What are they
Oh,
doing?
really? No.
Yes, and I was
The
like,
last thing I was really disappointed in was their live action Cowboy Bebop. I was so mad
oh.
about that.
I almost watched that, and I heard such bad shit about it. I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah, I didn't even finish that one. I like went 2 episodes
really.
and I was like, this is awful. I was so mad.
So I guess
Oh
it's both,
man.
right? Like it's a hit or miss. Like either they're gonna do a freaking bang up job, or it's gonna be crap. And
Well, I mean, there's middle of the road.
yeah,
I consider is Eternals middle of the road. Like it
yeah,
wasn't bad.
yeah,
It wasn't like
yeah,
amazing, but it wasn't bad,
right.
you know.
Yeah, that's kind of vibe I got. Like it wasn't great, but it didn't suck. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's fun, man. Do you have any cool comics? Like, do you collect, or you're just?
Sort of intermittently. Like I do have every issue of Invincible
Mm, that's
because
awesome.
I was like way into Invincible as it was coming out. It was just like my favorite book. And then also that was one where like the artist was like really affecting me too. Like he was so good, Ryan Otley. It's amazing.
Yeah. Did you like the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty freaking brutal. I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell? I was like, what is this? Holy crap. Like,
The comic book is way more brutal.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's good.
Way more brutal.
I thought the show was pretty brutal. I was like, damn, okay. So my
Yeah, it's way more brutal.
awesome. So my biggest disappointment so far is they haven't made a new Spawn.
Oh
That
yeah?
yes, I love Spawn, man. Spawn is my hands down favorite comic. And remember that movie they made in the 90s with the
Yes.
John Leguizamo?
Mm-hmm.
He was the clown. And they haven't done anything, which is pretty freaking strange to me, but I don't know. I'm hoping maybe one day they'll make a damn movie or something.
I actually heard there was a new animated series that might be coming out for Spawn.
Oh, really? Yeah, because
Yeah,
they did
I
one
don't
for
remember where I heard that, but I know I heard something.
they did one on HBO, which was pretty dark. They had like sex scenes and a lot of cussing and killing and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. So, Victor, I don't want to keep you too long, man. Is there anything, do you want to kind of promote something that you're doing right now, like your main podcast and maybe a couple other podcasts and stuff like that?
Um, sure. Actually, just check out Wiki Listen. It's a lot of fun. Um, and then check out the gaming website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to do that. So, what do you have plans for now, Victor? What's your main projects? Are those your main two things that you're hitting hard right now?
I'm doing those two projects. I have a TV show that is in the early stages of development right now. Like
Mhm.
we're actually basically just kind of like hopping around from network to network and trying to see who's actually going to pull the trigger and move forward first. Trying to
Is
play them off of each other. We'll see if it works.
Can you say what kind of show it is?
Yes, it is a show about it's a game show about video
What?
games. It's a game
No
show about
way.
video games.
That's a good idea, man.
It's fun. My other podcast, I have a different one called Six Insanely Questions, which is also a game show where I
Really?
ask
Up.
people questions. I ask people 6 questions, and then I ring a bell if I like their answer to the questions, and then at the end of the show, I decide whether or not it's worth giving them $5 for their appearance on the show.
Was that one of your ideas that you kind of just dreamt up?
Yeah, and then now it's a show. Yeah, we have like over 100 episodes.
100 episodes?
Yeah, more
Holy
than 100 of
crap!
that. And we have
Dang.
hundreds of Wiki Listen already. Like
Really?
hundreds
So
of episodes. Yeah.
how long has that been going on?
Since December.
Okay, so almost a whole year.
Yeah.
Um, do you do you have any other podcasts, or are those your two? Because I thought you said three, but
Yeah, I do have a third podcast, but I haven't published an episode in a while, and I'm going to start publishing new episodes really soon. It's a podcast called The Arts Academy, which is a
Mhm.
podcast where I just tell people how to do stuff. Like basically what I was doing to you, like with you, I just tell people everything I know about entertainment business.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So like maybe a little bit more serious one, or just about
Yeah, it's definitely more serious. It still has my sense of humor though, but it's just really
yeah.
me saying stuff like if I was like if I was just like breaking down exactly how
Y-
to you know get more listens to your podcast. Like I do stuff like that. Like whatever I'm
Mm,
working on, I just talk about
yeah.
things that I learned recently.
Okay. Yeah. Because earlier I was kind of like picking your brain. I didn't want to make you seem like, oh, what's this guy doing? Like you're just trying to, But I did just want to talk to you, and you seem super cool, man. And I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you're able to do all these cool projects, man. And I really appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're a busy guy and an actor and all this cool stuff, and just to talk to normal people like me, man, it's a privilege for me, and I appreciate it. It's really cool.
I'm glad, and I consider myself normal too. I don't think you and I are different in any way. I think I mean you're younger than me, and you just have that same vision for what you could possibly be that I did. Like so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. And I like the way that I like the way you think of things, and I like to learn from people, and I like that it almost seems like you're brainstorming these things, like, hey, I got this game show idea for $5 for them, and then I have this podcast where I read WikiLeaks, like there's like bits to all that stuff. It's pretty cool, man. Maybe I should, take that kind of knowledge, and because I remember, I don't want to are you in a hurry, or I don't want to waste your time or nothing like that, but like
I hold on. Wait, let me see. I can see if. Oh, okay. No, I'm not in a hurry just yet.
couple minutes. Okay, so
Yeah.
how you're saying you want to get to a point where you have like 6 months off, like you could
Hmm.
just chill for 6 months. And
Yes.
I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I have a couple of friends, like they got laid off during COVID. They took a whole year off and they got a paycheck, and they said that was like the greatest time of their life. Like
I'm sure.
it was it was weird. They said it was amazing. They're like, dude, he's like, man, I was streaming better, and I was sleeping better, and my life was like, what the
Yeah.
hell is this? Like I'm not working, but I'm getting a paycheck, and I'm actually like, I'm gonna go play golf and have a couple of beers today on a Monday, and that type of thing. And I was at work, and I was glad I was working, because my friends got laid off, and I stayed at work. But it was interesting to talk to him after that year, and he was telling me all this stuff, like, dude, like this was basically the only year of my life I'll probably be able to just chill and almost retire, like almost like a retirement, like a midlife retirement. And he was able to like just enjoy his life for a year. And I'm like, yeah, that's it, bro. Like you're gonna have to work till
Yeah,
you die, that type of thing.
exactly. And think about living that life where you're doing only things that you enjoy. That's it. And that's your whole life. Like if you could get that, how much is that like how much is that worth to you? Like how hard are you gonna fight for it? That's the way I feel. Like that's why I work
Mhm.
hard because I have a very specific vision about what I want
Mhm.
and I figure out the steps I need to take to get there and then I just work to get there. And the closer I get, the easier my life gets.
Yeah, it's got to get easier, right? Because I freaking, if I could make $1,200 a week doing something fun, I could quit my damn job, you know, and then I could do things I like to do for money. You're turning something you love to do into revenue, and
Right.
that's freaking awesome, man. And I think that's everyone's goal, and everyone just wishes they could do that. And I guess everyone should aspire to do that.
Well, oh my God, let me say one more thing. I'm so sorry. I should
No,
probably
man. I know.
wrap
I
this up
didn't.
soon.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep you longer, but I wanted to bring that up because you said that earlier, and I was thinking about that. It was interesting to me.
So So when I was trying to figure out like what I was going to be doing, I really looked online and I was like, how are people getting rich? And then I figured out that anybody can get rich at doing like shit. Like if you wanted to do like the shittiest drop shipping job and just like follow the steps, you could get rich, but you'd have just a shitty time
Yeah, it
doing
would
it.
suck.
Like it
Yeah.
sucks. It looks like it sucks. But then I was like, okay, all right, but is there a way to take part of what part of what they have laid out about like how to network and how to get things started that I can use and apply to something that I can actually do for a living,
Hmm.
like I could actually stomach. And then thinking like that is what eventually got me to where I am right now, where I was able to like make goofy projects and get people to invest in them.
Mm. Is that the key, to find someone that will actually invest in you to try to make something?
No, that's not the key. The key is having a real plan with the resources that you have. So you could you could grow your podcast probably a lot if you it, in spending no money if you took certain steps. And some of them would be grueling, but they're
Hmm.
out there and you could do that in your spare time. You just have
Hmm.
to figure it out because
Yeah.
everything's like a puzzle. That's the way I look at everything. It's just like a puzzle. And if you have these specific puzzle pieces, like WikiListen, I went to a podcast person, that someone who had already done podcasts, and I was like, I want to make a podcast that actually is fun and makes money. What do I need to do? And they're like, well, if you had a daily podcast, that would be great. And then I was like, awesome. And then I already knew that infotainment made money. And then when I finally came across the WikiListen idea, it fixed the puzzle. The
Mm.
puzzle was, how can I get a daily podcast that I don't have to spend forever researching, that still has really cool documentary infotainment sort of style to it? Like, how can I do all of that?
Yeah.
And then when the puzzle got solved, now it's something that works.
The puzzle, the solution was read the freaking wiki pages.
Yeah. Yeah. And but that's how everything is. Everything's like
Yeah.
a puzzle. You want to do A, B, C, like whatever you want to do,
Hmm.
there is a solution with the resources that you have. It's possible. And it may not be easy, but it's possible.
And you have to actually do it, like not just
Yes.
think about it, like actually do it.
Oh yeah, I could talk about that forever because I used to be definitely a person who would not actually do things. I would think about stuff and never do them.
Yeah, that's where I am. I'm like, I have all these ideas and I have like all these, like, maybe I should just like go out and just start promoting my podcast and putting stickers everywhere and put a freaking sign on my truck and do street interviews. I'm like, yeah, that'd be a great
No,
idea.
dude,
But
do it the other way. Do get on other people's podcasts by registering on these services where you found me. Just
mm,
because then you do something that you already
mhm,
like being on a podcast,
mhm.
so you could do that.
Yeah,
Then you're also talking to people who definitely already listen to podcasts.
right.
So if you
Okay,
put stickers everywhere, how many of those people listen to podcasts? You don't know.
right. And they're gonna be like, what the hell is that? I don't know what that is. You
And
know,
basically, if you do a podcast tour, every person you talk to will definitely listen to every person
yeah.
who hears you will definitely listen to a podcast.
Okay, man. Thank you for the advice, Victor. This was fun talking to you. Definitely gonna check out your website and your game thing and try to win $100.
Yeah, man, please do.
um, thank you, and I'm looking forward to maybe hearing the Vlad the Impaler episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Just um, I'm definitely gonna add it. So just let's keep in
Okay,
contact.
I'll just, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right, Victor. Thanks a lot for coming on the show, man.
Hi, Elijah. Bye.